This is the plaintiff, that Wati Singh. She says she paid the defendant for a trip to London, and it was canceled due to the coronavirus, and he refuses to give her a refund. He said he would give her a credit for another trip, but who knows when that will ever be possible again. She's been very patient waiting for him to give her a refund for 5 months. She's not waiting any longer and is suing this guy for the $1,220.55 she's owed. This is the defendant, Vish Balram. He says he got the money back for the hotel for the plaintiff, but the airlines wouldn't refund her money and only agreed to a credit, which is good for 2 years. The plaintiff didn't want to hear about that. She demanded a full refund, and well, here they are. He's accused of refusing a rebate. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $200 for organizing the trip.
All parties, please get your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says she paid the defendant her hard-earned money for a trip to London, but that was canceled because of the pandemic, and now he won't give her a refund. Now, the defendant says he got this woman all her money back, except for the airlines, but she has a credit good for 2 years, so she should just leave him alone. It's the case of bon voyage, not.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Ms. Singh.
Yes.
You had decided that you wanted to take a trip to London, and how did you contact Mr. Balram, or how did you agree to do it with Mr. Balram?
Someone called me and said a trip was going out, and called Mr. Balram up and tell him about the trip. He told me to bring $1,000. So I went and took the $1,000 to him in January.
Have you ever done a trip with Mr. Balram before?
Yes, I did a few trips with him in the years.
Okay, now is he a travel agent, or is he one of these folks who gets together trips with friends and family so that he can get a free trip?
I think he's a travel agent because he always do trips.
Okay, Mr. Balram, what exactly is your deal? Are you a travel agent or what?
No, Your Honor. We are a group of family friends. I'm the organizer or the group leader or the coordinator. But basically, we are a group of family and friends. And what we do is we come together and we plan a trip to go to someplace. And what I do is I do all the calculation. And then I reach out to the group and said, hey, we are going on a trip. Would you like to go? This is the cost of the trip. And then
right, and then typically when I've seen these situations a lot, and when I see that, typically your trip will be free because you brought in, if you bring in X number of people.
That's correct.
Okay, so, and the plaintiff has gone on how many trips with you?
I think 4 or 5. The international trips are Egypt, Turkey, Italy, and India, 4 trips.
Okay, what's your day job?
I'm a financial controller.
And are you friends with Ms. Singh, or you just know each other through this group then?
Well, through this group, but we have been in this group for 10 years, I would say.
Does she know that you're a financial controller?
And everybody knows on the trip that that's my full-time job.
Okay. All right, Ms. Singh, so what ends up happening? You have this beautiful trip to London planned, and what was the date that the trip was supposed to happen?
In March, I think the 3rd or the 5th of March. I don't recall the date. I have that in front of
2020?
me. Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
the year that will live in infamy. So what happened to your trip?
Your Honor, Vish Balram told me to bring the money for the trip. In February, he was bugging me all the time to give him the money, bring the money. It was very cold, and the virus was started to beginning. So anyway, I went and I took the money to him. And then after that, because of the coronavirus, everything canceled out in February. So I asked him kindly and nicely, Vish, I cannot go on this trip because the corona is on, that even if you give me a credit, I would not go on this trip, that I want my money back, please. And he said he cannot give the money back. I said, why? I need my money. Can you please give me my money back? I don't work. He said, send your address. And he sent me a check. He took $2,000 from me, and he sent me a check for $979.45 out of $2,200.
Did he cancel the trip? Did the trip get canceled by the country of England? Or did you decide not to go on the trip? What was it?
No, all the air flights shut down due to the corona. And
Right.
I even told him when I give him the money, I said, do you watch TV? Do you read the newspaper? He said, no. I said, you know, we have the corona is going on. And few days later, they shut down. We couldn't fly. Nobody could fly. I never told him I don't want to go. We just couldn't fly because of the coronavirus. Everything shut down.
So,
Nobody
Mr.
was
Ballroom,
flying
let me
to
hear
us.
from you. Where did all this money go?
Okay, so the flights, we bought the flights in January. It was bought through a travel agency. I already made hotel reservation. I bought the London pass. I made
The London
reservation
pass
for
is for the
Stone.
train?
That's for attractions, and along with the London pass, there is Oyster card, which is like a Metro card in New York that you could use on the train and on the bus. I also made arrangement for transportation from the airport to the hotel, transportation to Stonehenge, to Windsor Castle. Now, we planned this trip in December. In January, I start make all the bookings. But because we're a group of family and friends, normally if I could do something and let they pay a little at a time, I do it. But before the beginning of the trip, they must pay the full amount. So although Ms. Bedwati paid me some money in January and some in February, I had already purchased the ticket in January once I had some money from her and I had a copy of her passport. That's when I purchased.
Okay. So what you laid out was the transportation to and from, the London pass, the airlines, and the hotel. Anything else?
Insurance. I always say,
Insurance.
guys, if you want to buy insurance, there is a company named Travel Safe. I could buy the insurance for you, but it's your insurance.
And she bought the insurance, and then you also
Yes.
spent $100 on her goodie bag. Did she ever get her
Yeah.
goodie bag?
Yes, she did.
You sent her the goodie bag?
She came to we had a get together. She came to my home for the get together. That's when we had like an orientation, and that's when she got her goodie bag.
Okay. And then, all right, so tell me what was non-refundable. The London pass was non-refundable, but did they extend the time you could use it, or they just said, hey, this is good only until whatever date?
It was non-refundable because normally the refundable time is 30 days, but we bought it in January. Now, because of virus, the London pass, they allow you to use it for 2 years.
What about the airfare? Was that refundable?
The airfare we bought from a travel agency, it's refundable if you pay a processing fee of $250.
Is this all information that she knows or doesn't know? In other words, all the non-refundable nature of stuff, when you put out your email, do you mention that it's non-refundable?
The flyer I had sent to you, Your Honor. It's called
Okay,
London
hold on.
Flyer.
Got it. Vicious Family and Friends. It's actually what it's called. Capital letters. This is a non-refundable trip and itinerary subject to changes. See, you know, this flyer goes out and it's very clear that it's non-refundable. It's also very clear to you, I think you know darn well, that he's just a guy who puts trips together. He's not a travel agent. So we've got all these things that are a problem, and the question is, whose problem are they? You want them to be his problem, and you want him to refund everything. He sent you a check for $979.45. You have the airline's ticket. Did you give her anything that would allow her to use the airline ticket? You gave her the information so
Yes.
she knows how to be able to use. What happened
Yes,
with
Your
the
Honor.
hotel? Why would the hotel not return the money? That's kind
The
of
hotel
outrageous.
returned the money. I actually had to put a dispute on my credit card because we had booked advance booking on the hotel, but they happily gave us back the money.
Okay, so what's the only thing that didn't give you back money?
It's the airfare, the London pass, the insurance, and then the goodie bag.
Goodie bag.
Show me proof you spent $100 on the goodie bag.
I give you an
Because that's
exhibit
not something
called,
anybody, I know you don't want to be out the goodie bag because you don't want to take a bath, but she didn't pay for a goodie bag. That was just something you do to keep goodwill. So why should she have to pay for the goodie bag? You know,
Well,
even if she
you're-
got it, it's just like a little, yeah.
Yeah. Your Honor, when I organize this trip, if I have extra money, instead of giving back the money, I use it into something. So always,
That's
when
your
they go on a
business.
trip, when they go on a trip, they get a goodie bag because I use the
Yeah, I
extra
got
money
it. I
to-
know what a goodie bag is. I know what swag is. Let me ask you a question. How much was the airfare?
$5.25, $55.
Okay. And how much was the London pass?
The London pass is 500. That's for a 6-day pass.
All right. So what we have here then is someone who pays you $2,200, and then the airfare is $525.55,
50.
and that is non-refundable, but she is able to use it for the next X amount of time. The London pass is good for 2 years. The insurance is not refundable, and you went ahead and deducted $100 for the goodie bag. That's not going to happen.
Welcome back to the People's Court. So who's going to eat the cost of the goodie bag? Let's go back into the courtroom and find out.
I hate to tell you this, Miss Singh, but when you sign up for a trip that's non-refundable and the tickets are there's a certain price to it, which is based on the fact that it's non-refundable. The airfare you're going to be able to use in the next 2 years. I know what you're saying. You don't want to travel. I don't want to travel either. But this is the kind of thing that's happened to everybody. If you had paid him and he was a travel agent and he had insurance for this kind of thing, because this is his business, it's one thing. But this is a guy who puts together 20 people to go together on trips all the time. Can you imagine if every single person said to him, okay, now sell your house because you got to pay us all back all of our money? That wouldn't be fair either. But the airfare, you still have the value of it and can use it at another time, just like the flyer said, that the itinerary could end up changing and that it was non-refundable. The London pass is good for 2 years. The insurance is non-refundable, and you tried to make a claim on the insurance, and they said acts of God weren't covered.
No.
They're saying because of the virus. It's an act of God.
That's force majeure, and they don't handle force.
Yeah.
Do me a favor. Did you ever send her any of the paperwork about the insurance?
Yes.
Is this the travel insurance that we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to make sure you have this document. That way you can call the insurance company yourself and try to make a claim if you want. But as for whether or not he owes you the money, I do not find that he owes you the airfare. You have the value of that, and you're in the same position everybody else is who buys a non-refundable ticket, which is that you can use it at another time for the next X amount of time. The London pass is the same story. It's good for 2 years. The insurance, they're not going to refund that either, but you should have the insurance information so that you can make a claim if you want to try to make a claim. Pay this lady the $100 for the goodie bag. That's just something you do. Nobody ever agreed to pay $100 for the goodie bag. So you owe her $100, and as for the rest of it, you're in the same position everybody else is with non-refundable tickets, which is that you'll have to use it at another time. I know it's not ideal, but it also would be very inappropriate to turn around and tell a guy who puts together trips, you know, just so that his trip is free, that all of a sudden he has to sell his house so he could pay all these different people all the money they're out. Oh, and by the way, you have a counterclaim against her for $200 because you think she should pay you for going through all this wasted work? You're kidding me, right?
Yes, he saw me. He saw
Please tell me you're kidding me.
$10,000.
Yeah, no,
He saw
yeah, no, she doesn't. She never agreed to pay you to do that. That's something that was going to be free for you because you were going to get a free trip. Tough for you. You need to get hurt by Corona also, not just her. So on your counterclaim against her, 0. And on her claim against you, I am going to order you to give her all of the information that she may not have. So we'll make sure, my staff will make sure you have everything, and also pay back the $100 for the goodie bag. Good luck, folks.
Well, the plaintiff prevails, but only to the tune of $100. Mr. Balram, let me ask you, you've got to give her back $100 for the goodie bag. What's the value of the goodie bag?
It's 100. Actually, it's more than 100, but it's because I had the extra money. I just said $100. I normally give it out of my kindness, out of my goodness. So that's no problem with the $100.
All right, well, good for you. Well, anyway, that's the judge's decision. Ms. Singh, you still seem to be a little bit upset. I guess you are. You were suing for $1,200. What do you think?
Yes, sir. I paid him everything for all the trip that he told to the court. And this goodie bag is just, I don't know how much is it. There's a few little things inside of it and the itinerary. This is nothing. And we are not friends and family. I don't know what he's talking about. The guy is lying. Why is he lying? And why is he taking my money? Why he want to be this goody guy and make me look bad? Then he put it all over, viral all over the TV and all over. Yes?
Listen, I'm sorry, but that's the decision. End of story. All right. Now, I know the judges have a feeling about this. Let's see what they say.
The plaintiff in this case ends up getting either the actual value of what she spent or a credit towards it on almost all the items, correct?
Almost, yeah. I mean, the hotel gave the money back.
Right.
The
airline says, yeah, you can use this ticket, but we got to kick it down the road.
Right.
It's delayed.
Right.
And so I'm not sure that, I mean, she sounded really upset at the end in the hallway.
I think that she is behaving like someone who bought a refundable ticket.
Right.
And in her mind, Corona made it refundable.
Right. Right. And that's just not the case.
It's not, especially when, you know, in capital letters it says non-refundable and itinerary may change.
Right.
Because that happened to us.
Absolutely.
I mean, there were things we were able to cancel and there were things that we couldn't cancel.
Everybody's taking a haircut.
Everybody's taking a haircut with Corona.
Well, hopefully she makes it to London and it all turns out.
She won't be doing it with him, but she's got her own airline ticket and her own London pass.
A London pass ready to go.
Right.
Okay, this is really interesting from Cheyenne. She says, I'm a retail worker in Virginia and I hate having to touch customers' money when they lick their fingers before counting it and handing it to me. Can I refuse their payment because I don't want to touch their spit money? I got to tell you, it's tricky because money is a legal form of currency. I would wear gloves because if they hand it to you, probably should have to take it.